Very good evening to everyone watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on The Agenda. My name is Dewan Jabela, your host. Tonight we are graced with the presence of Chinese ambassador to Namibia, that is Ambassador, or His Excellency rather, Zhao Weiping. He's here to really just bring us up to speed with his work in Namibia, China's policy, and everything related to that. Ambassador, it's such an honor to have you on the platform. So thank you very much for making time. You've been in the country for around 9 months now, a short period, but also a long period to make an impression of the country. What has been your impression so far of Namibia?
Thank you, Taiwo, for having me. Yeah, time really flies. I've been here in Namibia as Chinese ambassador already 9 months.
Yeah.
I had a very busy but a very happy time here.
Yeah.
And my friends in China also asked me the same question. What's my impression of Namibia so far?
Yeah.
I told them that Namibians are very good people, and Namibia as a country is a good citizen of the international community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, my impression of Namibia is much more than that. I always tell my Namibian friends here that Namibia is a country having enormous potential of economic development. Namibia is the 34th largest country in the world in terms of land size, larger than all the European countries except Russia.
Yeah.
And although Namibia has a small population, but I don't think it's fair to call Namibia a small country.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's easy for every country, or it's not so difficult for every country to grow its population, but it's almost impossible to grow its territory.
Yeah.
So Namibians are indeed very lucky to enjoy such a large land size as a country. And Namibia is endowed with rich natural resources. Nobody knows how many treasures buried underground in such a vast country. Recently, you have discovered the oil and gas in Namibia. And nobody knows what other major discoveries will be made in future. And also, Namibia enjoys unparalleled wind and solar resources in the world. That's why now you have become the focus of the whole world, actually.
Yeah.
And you have achieved encouraging progress in developing green hydrogen program.
Yeah.
And in addition, Namibia also is well known for its stable social and legal environment, which is also very important to attract international investment. Of course, Namibia also is faced with a lot of serious challenges, such as the drought and shortage of water, and economic dependence on some other countries, and also the inadequate educational infrastructure. But I think the Namibian government and people are working very hard to meet all those challenges.
Yeah.
It's my opinion that in 5 or 10 years' time, Namibia's economy will make a big difference.
Yeah.
So I do believe that Namibian people, you have a lot of reason to be optimistic about your future.
Wonderful. So speaking of that future, His Excellency, what will be China's approach to that? There are established relations already, bilateral, economic, developmental relations. And we see a lot of countries getting involved in the key resources that you just mentioned, oil and gas, green hydrogen. Does China have any ambitions to be involved in some of those sectors in the way that you can be of assistance to the country?
China and Namibia have been very good partners in many aspects. Ever since the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries 33 years ago. So we have always been supporting each other and helping each other. So this bilateral relationship benefits both sides, both sides. And China has consistently provided economic assistance to Namibia according to our ability.
Yes.
So we have conducted a series of development assistance projects here in Namibia. So we will certainly continue to do that.
Yeah.
You know, to improve, to help improve your infrastructure, agriculture development, and other areas.
Yeah.
And recently in South Africa, while addressing the China-Africa Leaders Dialogue, Chinese President Xi Jinping put forward a new initiative and plan to support Africa's industrialization, agricultural modernization, and talent development.
Yeah.
So I think we can work together closely with the Namibia side to ensure that this initiative and plan will benefit Namibia. So that's the one thing I think we should do in future. And the second thing is that I do think we can forge closer economic cooperation between our two countries in various fields. You know, not only in the mining sector, but also in renewable energy like green hydrogen and other areas. And we can also we can also conduct more projects within the framework of China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Yes.
And China also stands ready to expand its import from Namibia by providing Namibia's agricultural and aquatic products more access to the Chinese market. So indeed, we have a lot to do together for the future China-Namibian cooperation.
What can you tell a layman, His Excellency, a layman who does not understand the Road and Belt Initiative? I hope I'm saying it in the right chronology. What is it?
The Belt and Road Initiative, you know, it was proposed by our president 10 years ago in 2013. So this year actually marks the 10th anniversary of that initiative. And that is basically, you know, an initiative for global economic cooperation. The aim is to push for economic globalization and push for the common prosperity of the world. And specifically, it targeted at targeted at closer connectivity among nations in terms of policy making, infrastructure building, trade, financing, and people. So the aim is to bring all the countries much closer to each other, you know, in all those areas I mentioned. And it has won very wide support from the international community. Now 152 countries have joined this initiative, and Namibia is one of them. And in order to implement this initiative, Chinese government has established relevant financing institutions to support it, because we know for any project to be implemented, we need financial support. So we have established some financing institution to support that. But I have to clarify one point that this initiative is not an aid program, but rather it's market-based cooperation between enterprises of different countries. Yeah. And of course, the initiative will provide support to those cooperation between the enterprises. Yeah. So these are the major points of our Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah. Is there anything currently happening in Namibia in terms of developmental projects, financing, or anything that is being carried out under that initiative currently?
Yes, like the Hussan uranium mine. Yeah. That's the one. I think they got financial support from one of those financing institutions I mentioned within the Belt and Road Initiative. Yeah, but I think we can in future we can together to conduct more such projects. Yeah. Because Namibia, you also have very ambitious domestic development plan. Yeah. You have those plans for building, for example, railways or port expansion, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we can link the Belt and Road Initiative with your domestic development plan, and to make use of the resources and support offered by Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah. As a representative of your government, His Excellency, what makes the Chinese initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative, or even the loans that you extend, the concessional loans that you extend to the Namibian government for different developmental projects, what makes those unique? What separates those interventions from those of other countries that are also in Africa? Because you are in Africa. In Namibia, I know that our government in particular, not everybody, but our government and the ruling party are really fond of China. I personally am a great admirer of the Chinese developmental model. I think it's incredible what China has done. But what makes Chinese interventions in Africa a bit different from others?
Yeah, I think we have Chinese way of doing things, and we have our own philosophies and our own aspirations. I think there's one key point which is very important, is that China always believed that the cooperation we are undertaking with the African countries falls into the category of South-South cooperation. Although China's economy has developed very fast, China is still a developing country. So that is, I think that's the starting point for whatever China do in Africa. Yeah. So it's not always about real benefits. What benefits China can enjoy in such cooperation, but also it's about a mutual support and help to our friends here. And actually, this kind of relationship has started ever since the new China was founded more than 70 years ago. But with the growth of our economic power, we are in a better position, to provide, to provide our support and help to African countries. So we're determined to do more, to the best of our capability. That's the one thing. I just take the loan or the debt issue as an example. You may notice that in the West they invented such a phrase, Actually, it's not the first invented in the West, but later it is used by the Western countries to wrongly blame China for so-called China using a debt trap. That means that China first make the African countries deeply indebted to China, and then China will take advantage of that for other purposes. That's certainly not true. That's certainly not true. Yeah. I want to use that as an example. We provide loans to African countries. Yeah. We provide loans to African countries not only for economic purpose, but also for the purpose of helping, for helping African countries. We never force any African countries or other developing countries to borrow from us. And also equally important is that we never force other country to repay the debt to China. If you have the difficulty in paying it back, okay, we can discuss a kind of arrangement to fully take into consideration your difficulty. Yeah. So we never force any country to repay debt. Yeah. And also actually still for African countries the debt mainly comes from borrowing from the Western countries or international financial organizations. Actually the debt to China still account for a small percentage. Take Namibia as an example. You have not borrowed from China. You haven't borrowed from China for almost 10 years already. Yeah, and the debt owed by Namibia to China only account for 2% of your total debt.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
yes.
I have to mention another point that we never attach political conditions to those loans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And in our in our engagement with African countries, we never impose our political will. On African countries.
That is very, very important.
Yeah.
So, for example, I know, for example, that there's the road to the airport. I think it's a Chinese-funded project. I just want you, Ambassador, for our viewers, because there's always this impression, this anti-Chinese impression, which sometimes I think is embedded in ignorance. So if you were to use that particular project as an example, what is the arrangement there? What is China? What role is China playing in that project? What is Namibia doing there? What will be the end game to say thank you? The parties are both happy. We part ways here. What is the arrangement there?
For the new airport 2B section project, that is fully funded by Chinese government grant.
Yeah.
That means it's not a loan, it's a grant. Yeah. So that project, and it's about 21 kilometers long road, I think. Yeah. And the investment is about 1 billion Namibian dollars. So that is indeed a very large grant project.
Yeah.
So people may think what benefits we enjoy from that. Yeah, I think it's just a help. Yeah. No, I don't. Of course, we don't enjoy any commercial benefit from that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the project just want to contribute our part.
Yeah.
To your own efforts.
Yeah.
In improving your infrastructure. Yeah. Because we are friends. We are friends. Yeah. So we just think, we should do something. We should do something. Yeah. So, and for the, you mentioned that there's indeed seemed to me that a lot of people, they have not so positive impression about China. I think that's a very complicated issue. First, I think, maybe because of kind of Western influence, because the Western country, they want to label China as a neo-colonialist. Yeah. And it's actually, it's ironic for the descendants of all the colonialists to label us as neo-colonialists. But I think Namibians and all the African people, they can judge by their own. They can make their own judgment by what China has done in Africa. That's certainly not true. Yeah, and we don't have any such intention to colonialize Africa. Yeah. And that would be foolish to do that, and that's impossible, right? Yeah. So, and the other thing is, of course, maybe some of our Chinese nationals, they working, living in Africa. They don't respect they haven't respected the local culture, and they some of them even violate laws and regulations. So that may give people a bad impression. But I think those individual cases, we should not, because of those individual cases, deny the whole Chinese community in Africa. I think that's not fair, because for every country, I think there are people who strictly abide by the law, but also people who like to play with law. But by saying that, our attitude, the attitude of the embassy is very, very clear. We hope all Chinese nationals here will abide by the law of Namibia and respect the culture, and to live in harmony with the local general public. That's very important. And we have been following the situation very closely, and we have strengthened our dialogue with the Chinese community here.
Absolutely. We go for a break, and then we return with His Excellency Zhao Weiping.
Win a double trolley dash in our birthday bonanza while saving on these. Get 10 kg Champion Super Maize for $99.99. 3 kg Pasta Grande Elbows or Mac for $64.99. 1.5 kg Real Good Mixed Chicken for just $64.99. 1 liter First Choice UHT Milk for $19.99. And 2 kg Surf Hand Washing Powder for $49.99. See the details of our incredible double trolley dash competition at vurmanbrock.com.
The conversation with Ambassador continues. Now, His Excellency, I still want, sorry to take you back on that airport road. So it's a grant to the value of $1 billion Namibian dollars. There ought to be something for China in that project. What is it that China is getting out of that? For example, we know in the past, there used to be policies where China would say, for example, look, we'll give you a grant provided that the contract is carried out by a Chinese company, or that workers, a certain portion of workers must be from China, and stuff like that. What is the arrangement in that regard here?
Yes, because that's a Chinese government grant project. So it has to be implemented by a Chinese company. But actually most of the workers are local workers. So far as I know, for that specific project of the new airport to be project, only 20 or 30 people from China. And they employ 200 or 300 local workers. And they also subcontract to a lot of local, companies. Yeah. So that's the situation.
Wonderful. You haven't really had an easy spell so far. I think in terms of your mandate, you are doing your job very well, but you also had some sort of baptism of fire, if you like, where you called the media the other day to the embassy, which was very good, actually, to engage with the local media. But you spoke about, one of the things that you addressed that day was about what is it called, the visa situation, because there were local reports that China is getting a visa-free arrangement with Namibia, and you said at the time that it will actually be reciprocal. It's not just a one-way thing. What can you tell us about that? Have you now been? Is there still progress, or did those reports scare or put off the whole thing?
Yeah, the mutual exemption of visa, that issue, I did touch it. I did touch it before, yeah, and it's also in the news report, yeah. And currently, our two governments. Currently, we don't have any further discussion on that.
Okay.
Further discussion on that. Yeah.
Is it because of this report, or it just happened naturally because of something else, or has it been put off because of this scrutiny by the media?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know really, but we are patient.
Yeah.
We are patient. We are not in a hurry. Yeah. Yeah. Because such kind of arrangement, it's mutually beneficial. Yeah. Yeah. It's mutually beneficial, and it should be should be the willingness of the two sides.
In fact, some people have actually, suggested that any such arrangement will actually be more beneficial to Namibia than to China, because I think currently many Namibians are struggling for the fees and the scrutinies that they have to go to China, and I think your embassy is working very hard also to increase the number of Chinese tourists coming to Namibia. And there's this idea that if the exemption kicks in, that we might actually see more Chinese tourists coming to Namibia. Is that your thought also?
Yes, I certainly believe it should be up to the Namibian side to decide whether such arrangement will benefit Namibia. Yeah. But my personal opinion is that it will certainly bring very, very big benefits to Namibia. Yeah. It will, of course, encourage more Chinese tourists coming to Namibia. Yeah. Yeah. And we are such a large population. We're such a large population. Yeah. So it's not difficult for China to have 10,000 or 20,000 tourists to come to Namibia, and that will certainly be very good news for the tourism industry. Yeah. And actually, recently we had roundtable discussions with some of the tourist agencies here in Namibia. Yeah. So they all want to have more Chinese tourists coming to Namibia. Yeah. And they said the Chinese tourists, actually, they spend more than the Western tourists. Because for a lot of Western tourists coming to Namibia, of course, a lot of passionate of them. And also for even, but a lot of Western tourists coming here, they just, high SUV maybe, and they will just drive around. They even don't stay at the hotels. They will set up camps, something like that. Yeah. But for the Chinese tourists, I think they are tourists more in a traditional sense. They come here and they stay at the hotel and they buy all kind of souvenirs. Yeah, those things. Yeah. So the average cost for one Chinese tourist is about 70,000 Namibian dollars. Of course, that includes international airfare. Yeah. So according to the tourist agency here, they like to have more Chinese tourists. But the bigger problem is the visa. Yeah, because it will take long time. Yeah. And for the Chinese tourists, to be issued visa. Yeah. And also there's a big uncertainty. Maybe they wait for a long time and eventually they will not be issued a visa. Yeah. So that cause big problem, because people in China, they just think, oh, it's so difficult, not convenient enough. Yeah. And also because some of your hotels, if the tourists, they already made a reservation, they cannot be canceled if they cannot get a visa. Yeah. So a lot of practical problems caused by the visa policy
situation. Yeah. You alluded, His Excellency, earlier on to the issue of to the efforts. As a matter of fact, the attitude of the embassy towards Chinese nationals or entities that do not adhere to the rules of the country. And it's not only, in fairness, it's not only Chinese nationals who, those individuals, isolated cases, are not only limited to Chinese citizens. There are citizens of other nationalities here who are either in jail here or they have been arrested or they've been kicked out of the country also for violating domestic laws. We have a situation now around lithium and there's a company, and I think it's a private, I don't think it's a state entity. It ought to be a private but Chinese entity, Jinfeng. It's always in the papers, shipping out lithium and stuff like that. Is that something that you monitor as an embassy and say, because obviously when people say Chinese firm, Chinese company all the time, it also leaves a dark spot on the impression of China. Is it something that you monitor? Do you speak to the owners? How does it work?
Yeah, first I should emphasize that all the Chinese companies, whether it's a state-owned or private company in Namibia, they should observe your law. There's no doubt about that, And if they go against law, they should be held accountable. That's the same thing in all the countries. Yeah, that's the same thing. So our attitude is very clear. Yeah, and we did have seen reports from time to time. About the company you mentioned. Yeah, I think I cannot comment on the specifics of the case because actually we don't know what's really going on. Yeah. But we did have talk to the company a lot of times to check what's going on. Yeah, and of course sometimes they give us a different story from what is reported by the media here. Yeah, but we told them whatever the truth is, you should be more sensitive. I mean the company. We told them they should be more sensitive in they are in more sensitive to the laws and regulations. And also the culture traditions, and social norms they should be more sensitive to that because they are doing business now here in Namibia. Yeah, so they should be more familiar with all those things, and most importantly, they should also they should also have the willingness to live in harmony, to live in harmony with the local community here.
Yeah, yeah. The ruling party in our country, which is very, very aligned to the Chinese Communist Party in terms of the ideological posture. SWAPO identifies itself as a socialist organization, communist in the 70s and 80s. I think it's only upon independence that because they found a particular structure here that they realized that communism in the true sense will not be practical here. But you now hear in SWAPO something called, I think they are borrowing from the Chinese Communist Party, communism with Namibian characteristics.
Socialism.
Socialism, sorry. Yeah, I always, so socialism with Namibian characteristics. And China has a similar phrase. When you look around here, do you think what China is doing, of course, the local context differs, but do you think it can be replicated here?
Yeah. I should be very careful as ambassador to such questions. Yes. Something related with your domestic policy or domestic politics. I should always be very sensitive. Yeah. And first, I want to say that SWAPO Party and Communist Party of China did enjoy long friendship, long history of friendship, dating back in 1960s. Yeah. So actually, our bilateral relations or the relation between two countries, Namibia and China, actually started with the party. With the party relations, with the party friendship, long time ago. Yeah. So even today, our two parties enjoy, a lot of exchanges, on various issues. And for the SWAPO party, you mentioned the socialism with Namibian characteristics. I don't know whether they take China as example in establishing their theory of socialism with Namibian characteristics. But for China, of course, you are right. Where we are practicing socialism with Chinese characteristics. Chinese characteristics. Yeah. And that is a very important strategy for us. Very strategy and very creative theoretical achievement for China. That theory was introduced by the Chinese Communist Party, immediately after the Cultural Revolution. Yeah. So for China, the new China was established in 1949. Yeah. And the Cultural Revolution, ended in 1976. Yeah. So for that period of time, actually, China, China had been exploring very actively on what kind of path of development, what kind of system China should adopt. Yeah. And of course, there was a very big setback, like Cultural Revolution, those things. So we think, we have found a national development path suitable to our national conditions, and that is socialism with Chinese characteristics. So with that theory, only with that theory, it's possible for us to adopt a reform and opening policy.
Yes.
And that's the fundamental reason why China developed so fast, creating two miracles of rapid economic development and long-term social stability.
Yeah.
And this trend is still going on.
Yeah.
So we are now practicing socialism with Chinese characteristic in new era. New era.
Yeah. In practical terms, what does it mean? What happens on the actual ground? Because as compared to the Western cultures, for example, socialism in China means what? People own property, they do not own. It's a welfare state. How does socialism, especially, how does it work there?
Yeah, socialism, of course, very important public ownership. But in the meantime, we also, have, in China, we call various kinds of ownership coexist with public ownership as the basic or as the main form of ownership. So that's the one. And second, very important is that socialism with Chinese characteristics, very important is the whole nation, the country is led by the Communist Party of China. Okay, that's very important.
So
and also we emphasize on the role of the government in national economic activities, but also we respect the laws of the market economy.
The impression that is always created in the Western media, that the narrative of the West regarding China as it relates to that one-party element, is that it brings into question the concept of democracy. Is China a democratic country, or you have your own alternative to say we don't practice democracy in the Western sense, but we have our own alternative that helped us to run the country?
Yeah, sure. We are practicing collective democracy. That's different. And we do think that actually democracy, it's not just a slogan, okay? To make it beautiful to the people. But what really matters is what real benefits you will bring. The government will bring to the people. And the past 40 years successful experience in China has proved that our system works for the country and also work for the people. We have eradicated the absolute poverty, for a country like of 1.4 billion people. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. So we have our own system of democracy. And that works for China. Of course, I think the success of China has established a good example. If other countries, especially the developing countries, they want to if they want to learn from our example, of course they are most welcome. But we never think any country should copy the system or practices of other countries, because the national conditions are different. Have to whatever good experiences in other country, you may make reference to that. But you have to adapt it to your national conditions. That's also the important lesson China learns, because in the past, shortly after the founding of the People's Republic, we almost copy everything from the Soviet Union. And eventually it turned out not the case, not a good case for China.
Back to Namibia-China relations, this friendship, this partnership, this bilateral connection is supposed to be of mutual, it's supposed to be a win-win situation. What can China win from Namibia, actually? What is it for a small country like ours?
You know, every country needs to have friends in the world. The more, the better. And every country needs to trade and exchange with other countries, as many as possible. Yeah. So no matter it's a small country or a big country, it's only very, very natural for China, such a large country in the world. You know, we have to expand our international relations. With, of course, we do want to have more friends. Yeah. So also because we enjoy profound traditional friendship, so we have all the reason, you know, to constantly push forward our friendly relations and practical cooperation with Namibia. And also actually, I believe that our relationship with Namibia is mutually beneficial. It's mutually beneficial, you know, not only for the economic cooperation, but also we cooperate on a lot of regional and international issues. And we enjoy a lot of valuable support from Namibia in various kinds of votings taking place in United Nations or other international occasions. Yeah. So yeah, we you know, I think it's only right to describe this relationship as mutually beneficial. Not only Namibia, you know, benefit from that. China also benefit from that. But I think benefit is not the only consideration for us. Just as I mentioned before, we are both developing countries. We are both developing countries. Yeah, and we are friends. We are friends. Yeah, for many years. Yeah, dating back even to your struggle for independence.
I think as we draw towards the end of this very enlightening conversation, Ambassador, one of the issues that you also mentioned the other time when you invited journalists to the embassy was, I think someone asked you a question, or it was your own initiative, I can't remember, but it was around the competence of Chinese companies in Namibia. And why, for example, there was this whole thing about 7 Chinese companies shortlisted for one project. None other. All 7 companies were Chinese. And you were very articulate in what that could have been, or in what could have been the reason for that. For those who might have missed your explanation at the time, what can you say could have been the reason? Again, you were clear, it's not a Chinese project. In fact, it's funded by a German development bank, but somehow it ended up with 7 Chinese companies being shortlisted. What could have been the reason there?
Yeah, I think it's obvious Chinese construction companies are very active in Namibia. Yeah. And of course, that some local companies or other international companies, they feel a kind of pressure of severe competition from the Chinese companies. That's very understandable. That's very understandable. But I think objectively speaking, you know, we should also recognize the benefits Chinese construction companies bring to Namibia. Yeah. Of course, the quality of their construction work is very good. And also, you know, for any project, if it's conducted by the Chinese construction company, they are able to shorten the period of the time for construction, and that's also important. Yeah. And so I think, put it simply, I think the service is good quality, but the price is low. And actually, so far as I know, I don't know whether it's true or not. A lot of Chinese companies, their profit is very low. You know, although they are doing a lot of things, but actually the profit is very low. It's very low. Yeah. So yeah, I recently I told a friend here that, you know, because of green hydrogen development, okay, so you need to do a lot of improvement in infrastructure building. And I think, you know, Chinese companies, maybe they also, you know, can offer their, you know, they can also make their contribution. Yeah, because for all these projects, infrastructure projects, I think time is also very valuable for Namibia. In order for you to, you know, enjoy the benefits of the green hydrogen at an early date, the time of building those infrastructures is also very important. Yeah. But actually, you know, although, you know, the Chinese construction companies, they are the main contractor of certain projects, but actually they allocate a lot of, you know, a lot of work of the project to local subcontractors. So maybe we can also, we should also clarify this impression that, okay, it's all done by the Chinese company and all the profits go to the Chinese company. That's not the whole story.
Yeah, yeah. The final question then to you, His Excellency, is Namibia enjoys the highest level of relations with China. I think the strategic partnership is the highest that your government can accord another country. Going forward, in not so many words, what can still be done to punch above our weights as two friendly countries? What more can be achieved? So much has already been achieved, but can more be done, or we have reached the ceiling now?
No, never the ceiling. Never the ceiling. Yeah, you know, recently, actually in August, President Xi Jinping and President Gengov held another successful bilateral meeting in South Africa, while, you know, on the sidelines of attending relevant BRICS meetings. Yeah. And that meeting between our two presidents was very good. It was very good and also very important for the future development of our bilateral relations.
Yeah.
And I think that there's, as I mentioned earlier in our chat today, there's a great potential.
Wonderful.
In all the aspects. Great potential. And as an ambassador here, my priority now is to work for more cooperation in the area of agriculture and educational infrastructure and talent development. These are three areas of my priority as ambassador here. Because agriculture is so important for Namibia, either for you know, for the food security or for solving the problem of unemployment. So I'm very sensitive. I'm following very closely all the issues which might be related to possible agricultural cooperation between our two countries. And recently, I read from the newspaper that Namibia is experiencing serious food shortage. I immediately reported that to the Chinese government, and I'm very glad that the Chinese government have made the announcement to provide 10 million Chinese yuan grant to Namibia for emergency food aid.
Wonderful.
So I do hope that our two countries can you know, do more in the area of agriculture. Also, educational infrastructure. The more I visited the schools in various regions, the more I realize the urgent need for more infrastructure building in education area. For example, you need to build more. You need to build at least 4,000, another 4,000 classrooms to accommodate the real needs. Yeah. So these are the things. As ambassador, I work. I should work hard. To do something.
Absolutely. His Excellency, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It was a good conversation.
Thank you.
That is His Excellency Ambassador Zhao Weiping of the People's Republic of China addressing us on China's policy in Africa, in Namibia, what can be done to improve relations. And yes, that is his story. Thank you for watching.